Hello there, this sunny Monday afternoon. Just wanted to jump in and share a few thoughts and a story or two. Um, so, a couple years ago, I started trying to be more in shape, do things, and started going to the gym. Very slow progress, and really, I don't think I look that much different. I don't feel like I look that much different. You know, Despite all the time and effort I put into it. Well, about a year ago, a friend of mine came up, put his hand on my shoulder, about right there, and he made a comment. He goes, "Wow, you're it's like you're solid." He said something along those lines. Just making a comment about it. And I still think about that. One of those where just a little comment like that, and I think it sticks with me because we're so hungry for compliments. We're so hungry for that connection of all this time and effort we put into things for people to be a part of it, and especially those things where that's meaningful to us. Um, and so a little bit goes a long way. I mean, you hear this a lot if you go and you listen to people talk, and they talk about fond memories and things like that. A lot of them go back to a specific moment where someone paid them a compliment, said something kind to them. And I early on in my professional career, I struggled deeply with feeling empathy or feeling a connection to the people I worked with. um, you know I can speculate why that is, but it was something I didn't like. I didn't want to be that way. I didn't want to not feel towards the people that I was going to be spending a lot of time with. So I made myself a goal that every day I would pay a compliment to somebody, and I would begin using the phrase, "I'm glad you're here." Um, and at the onset of it, I really didn't feel it. I didn't really feel a increase in joy or gladness that somebody was there. But I noticed something after doing it for a while, that I began to actually feel that way. Um, and part of it was because how people responded back to it. And the other part is that was something that I wanted. And if you have a desire for something and then you start putting actions in place that propel you towards that, you'll eventually get there. Kind of like, I don't think anybody would have grabbed onto my shoulder after having gone to the gym just 1 week and said, "Wow, you're getting solid." They probably wouldn't have made a comment, or probably thought, "Man, that guy's soft like a marshmallow," whatever it is. But just the small little consistent things that work towards the goal. And then eventually what you'll find out is that attribute that you wanted to be part of who you are becomes part of who you are, because you put in the small efforts consistently to do it. And it's, like I've said before, it's uncomfortable to do that. Going to the gym's not comfortable. That's kind of the hallmark of the gym, is that it's, you're pushing yourself, and there's a strain and a discomfort there that comes with it. Same thing when I wanted to feel more connected to the people that I work with, saying, "I'm glad you're here." At first, it was very uncomfortable to say that, because it's like, why is he glad I'm here? And I could start to put justifications and reasons why, but really, I just wanted a unconditional joy for people to be there. And if at the onset of it I needed to justify it, and sometimes I did, I justified it in my head and with other people, that if you weren't here, I'd have to do more work. That's kind of a selfish reason, but really, it's somewhere to start, right? There's no shame in starting somewhere that's starting somewhere that you can actually achieve. I knew that I could be selfish. I've been selfish my whole life, so It's easy to have a selfish reason for being glad somebody's there. And then step outside of that comfort zone. So, you know what? I want to be glad that they're here because of the value they bring. You know, I would rather have them than somebody else. That's what I want to feel that. And then after that, I want to just be glad that they are here, that they're present. With no condition to it. You're just glad and happy to see somebody. And if you've ever been around someone who is like that, they're good to be around. They're good people to have in your life. And I wanted to be like that, and I'm still not all the way there, to be honest. Somewhere I want to be, though. And so I'll continue with that. But, saying to people that I'm glad you're here unconditionally, maybe not phrasing it like that, but just sharing with them, verbally saying it, that I'm glad you're here. Period. The end. Nothing else to it. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I get to see you. I think we could use a lot more of that today. And throughout all history we could use that, but I feel like that's somewhat lacking, that you see somebody and we start putting all these qualifiers on them, and those qualifiers determine whether we're happy to see them or not, or if we're glad that they even exist. It's like, no, they exist. Happy that they're here. Zero qualifiers. Just glad that they're here. And I have a suspicion that as I do that more, and as anyone does that more, the more joy you'll feel, the happier you'll feel, and the greater peace you'll feel. That, it's the more I've cared about the people around me, the less I've cared about what people think about me. And it's an odd dynamic there, that I can care, I care so much about my wife that I can be completely honest with her and open up to her and share with her. And the more I care about her, the less I care about her opinion of me, if that makes sense, because I know she cares about me and wants the best for me. So I know she'll correct me and she'll help me. And it's an odd thing to care so deeply that you begin to not care, right? I'm having a hard time explaining it, but hopefully it resonates with some people, that you can care so deeply about someone that you're okay looking foolish in front of them. You're okay trying new things in front of them. You're okay saying things poorly in front of them, because you know that they'll help you get to where you need to be. And you know that they want the best for you. So my hope is that I can have more relationships like that with my kids, a deeper relationship with my wife like that, a relationship like that with my friends. And I hope to have a whole lot more friends and really, really grow and develop as a human being and be better. But, yeah, I want to get to that point where I care so much about the people around me that, it doesn't bother me to pursue new things, to try new things, to look foolish, and and genuinely be happy to see the people around me. So hopefully I can get there. Hopefully you can help me get there. So, but stay classy. Do your best. So the Lord loves effort. Thanks.